Ai, aloha mai kākou, manaʻolana wau maikaʻi no ʻoukou e nā mākua. Eia hou kākou I kēia manawa me kekahi haʻawina ʻōlelo Hawaiʻi. A me ia manaʻo e luʻu koke kākou I ka hana. O ia. Ai, no leilo no nā pahu hopu o kēia haʻawina ʻōlelo Hawaiʻi. O ia hoʻi o e nā ana I ka Pepeke Painu kauoha. Okay, we're going to review the Pepeke Painu and its command form. Helu elua e aʻu I nā hunekuhi mai, aku, aʻe, iho. Okay, we're going to learn the hunekuhi, these 4 hunekuhi, mai, aku, aʻe, and iho. And helu e kolu e hoʻomaʻamaʻa I nā hua ʻōlelo o ka lumi moe. Okay, we're going to practice these patterns and these hunekuhi in sentences with words of the bedroom. Right? The lumi moe, the bedroom. Ai no leila e hoʻomaka kākou. Okay, first of all, the Pepeke Painu kauoha. Again, from the previous haʻawina, we talked about making a suggestion or a command using this pattern, right? Of e followed by the verb or the painu, followed by the piko, which could be a papani, a pronoun, or it could be a ka'imemea, or it could be an ioa, a person's name, right? And then we have in the next section is the ave, which is the receiver of the action. And we talked about hamani verbs and hehele verbs. So right now, we're just going to review from the previous haʻawina using some new sentences, some new hopuna ʻōlelo. So the first one is e hoʻā ʻoe I ke kukui. Okay, we have the word the painu hoʻā. Okay, and this is going to be in our new papahua ʻōlelo for this haʻawina vocabulary list. So you want to go ahead and look that up. Okay, so e hoʻā ʻoe I ke kukui. Okay, anybody want to try and figure this one out? Okay, we have hoʻā. Hoʻā means to turn on or to ignite. Who are we talking to? We're talking to oi, which is you. And then what is the thing that needs to be activated or turned on? Right, ke kukui. And we have to have that eve to mark that ke kukui is the receiver of the action from this hamani verb. E hoʻā oi I ke kukui means you turn on the light. Hololei, you, one, because we're using the pronoun oi, turn on the light. Maikaʻi. And to negate this, we use the Pepeke Painu kauoha with the negative mai. And again, mai means do not do something, right? Mai hana, mai hele, don't go. In this case, we have mai hoʻā I ke kukui, right? So this would be the opposite of the first sentence, which was affirmative sentence, right? Usually a command or a suggestion. And the second one is a command to not do something. So if hoʻā oi I ke kukui means to turn on the light, then mai hoʻā I ke kukui means do not turn on the light, right? And you notice in this second sentence, we don't have a pronoun, and that's perfectly fine. We have context in who we're talking to. So mai hoʻā I ke kukui is don't turn on the light, with the understanding that we're talking to the person before because we said oi, right? So we're talking to somebody. And then the second statement is just mai hoʻā I ke kukui, mai hoʻā I ke kukui. Second sentence, second example is e hia moe ʻolua ma ka lumi moe. Okay? E hia moe ʻolua ma ka lumi moe. Hia moe, to sleep. ʻolua, you to. Ma ka lumi moe, right? Ma ka lumi moe, in, on, or at the lumi moe. Okay. Any ideas? Any mana'o? Something about you to go sleep where? Someplace, right? Mahea, where? Ai makalumi moe. Let's take a look. Polole, you two sleep in the bedroom. Yeah, you two guys, ehia moe, olua, makalumi moe. Mai kai. In the negative, we have mai hia moe, makalumi moe. And it's just the opposite of the previous example, from the affirmative into the negative. Mai hia moe, do not sleep. Where? Makalumi moe, polole. Don't sleep in the bedroom. Okay, so mai kai. Okay, now let's move on to the next example. Let's take a look at this. E kalama, e moe na keiki, maluna o kapela moe. All right, so this is a review of everything that we've learned thus far. E moe, sleep. Who's sleeping? Na keiki, where? Where are they sleeping? Maluna o, on top of something, right? What is that something? Kapela moe, right? The bed. Ai? E kalama, e moe na keiki, maluna o kapela moe. Kalama, the kids should be sleeping or will sleep where? On top the bed. Okay, let's take a look. Maikai, kalama, the children sleep on top of the bed. All right, the children sleep on top of the bed. Maikai. And of course, the negative version of that would be mai moe na keiki makapela moe e kalama. This sentence is a little bit different. We have the amihea e kalama at the ending of the sentence, which is perfectly fine. So mai moe na keiki makapela moe. The keiki do not sleep on the bed. Kalama. Yeah, kalama. We're calling kalama's attention at the end. So let's see if we're polole. The children don't sleep on the bed. Kalama. Okay, so you can have the name of the person come up in front, preceded by a, which is of course going to be capital because this is the beginning of the sentence. E kalama. E moi na keiki, maluna o kapela moi. And in the negative form, we have mai moi na keiki, maluna o makapela moi e kalama, which is perfectly fine. You can address a person's name, the beginning, ai ole, at the end. They're both perfectly fine. Okay. Pehea keia na ana ana. Was it helpful? I hope it was. Just a quick review of what we learned last week. Meia mana'o e ho'omaua kukako. Oh yeah, i keia manawa, we're going to continue to review the Pepeke Painu kaoha with ka'imemea, with papani, and with an i'oa. Okay, so the various piko that we could possibly have, which would be a ka'imemea, for example, ka makuahine, keia kane, or an apapani, which, for example, oya and oi. And finally, an example of an i'oa as the piko of the sentence, which is in this case, o kahiva. Inana kako, and try to formulate in your mind the translation, okay, by looking at the different parts of this pepeke. E ho'ala ka makuahine ina keiki. Okay, ho'ala ka makuahine ina keiki. Who's doing the ho'ala ana? Ka makuahine, right? Mother, the mother. And who is the receiver of the action of being ho'ala ia? Na keiki. Ai, na keiki e ho'ala, ho'ala ka makuahine ina keiki. Ho'ala means to wake up, right? So what is the makuahine doing? The makuahine is waking up who? Na keiki. All right, so let's take a look at the translation. And if you said the mother shall wake up the children, mai ka iloa, akamai oi. All right, the mother, kamakuahine, shall wake up, ai, na ina keiki, right? The children. And we must have that e, which is our amiloka. E ho'ala, kamakuahine, ina keiki. Maikai. La ana elua, e ho'opio ke ia kane I ka waki. Okay? E ho'opio ke ia kane I ka waki. Who's doing this action? I, Keia Kane, this Kane, this man, right? And what is he actually deactivating or turning off? The waki, polo lei. So the waki is receiving the action of being turned off by Keia Kane. All right, so let's see if we're polo lei. I, Meikai, this man shall turn off the watch. This man, Keia Kane, e ho'opio. E ho'opio Keia Kane ikawaki. Yeah, he's this man shall turn off the watch. Third example, e opi opi oia ike kapa moe. E opi opi oia ike kapa moe. Opi opi, if you look at the list, you should find that opi opi means to fold. I, maikai. Who's doing the folding? Oya, I, he or she, depending on the context of the conversation, he or she. What is he or she folding? Holole ike kapa moe. Maikai. The kapa moe is the blanket, right? E opi opi oya ike kapa moe. He'll fold the blanket. Not you, not her. He will fold the blanket. E opi opi oia ike kapa moe. Maikai. Next la'ana, kind of similar. E opi opi oi ike ka vele. E opi opi oi ike ka vele. Oi is the pronoun, the papani for you. So we're talking to you. Opi opi again means to fold. And what are we folding? What's receiving the action of being folded? Polole ke ka vele. Let's see what the translation says. Polole, you fold the towel. E opi opi oi ike ka vele. You fold the towel. Okay? Not him, not her, but you. And we know this because the papani or the piko of the sentence is the papani oi. Maikai. Last one. Euhi o kahiva ika pela o lei ika uhi pela. All right, we have several ave in this particular example, but let's start at the beginning. In the po'o position, we have the a, the command, right? We used a. Uhi is our painu, our action word, right? And who's doing this action? I, Kahiva, is doing the action. And when we have Kahiva as the pico, we need to mark that name within that Ami Pico O. Yeah, the O that marks the pico. Okay, so what is being uhid? Capella, right? Capella. How do we know that capella is being uhi is because we have the amilauka. The amilauka e right there tells us that capella is the object receiving the action. Okay, mekain. But it goes on. It tells us who this pella belongs to by saying capella ole. Ole. Okay, this is a pella belonging to lei. Ika uhi pella. Anybody want to take a guess at this? Kahiva is going to uhi something. Capella ole, the pella belonging to lei, right? Lei's pella. Ikauhi pella. Okay, what is the uhi pella? These are all words that are found on your list. So let's take a look. Kahiva will cover the bed of lei with the sheet. E uhi o kahiva, ikapella o lei, ika uhi pella with the sheet. All right, so these are just some Pepeke Painu kaoha using various types of piko, ka'imemea, papani, and then the last one was in i'oa, which is okahiva. Oia, mai ka'i keia ho'oma'a hou ana, e ho'omawaku kako me ka haʻawina. All right, no leila. So the pahuhopu of this haʻawina is to look at na hunekuhi. So let's take a look at this. These little words give us a sense of direction related to the speaker, right? The person who is speaking. So when the person who is speaking uses these small words to give a sense of direction, and therefore affecting the kuana ike, right? The perspective on this. And it takes some time to wrap your head around it because it's not very straightforward. There's more to these words than what we usually think. So for example, mai. Ho'opili mai. Repeat after me. Mai. Mai. Mai kai. That last letter is an E, yeah? So it's mai. Mai, not my. We don't want to say my. We want to enunciate that E. Mai. Okay. Mai kai. Next one is aku. Aku. Ho'opili mai. Aku. Mai kai. The third one is a'e. Yeah. A'e. There's no okina before the a, so we say a'e. But there is an okina in between the two vowels. A'e. A'e. The last hunekuhi is iho. 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 So again, four small words that we put into our pepeke, our sentence structure, to give a sense of direction related to the speaker. So keep this in mind as we look at the next set of examples. All right. Again, sense of direction related to the speaker. Mai can be toward me or us, or facing me or us. Okay. It's not just traveling in my direction, but yes, it is toward me or us in my direction, but it can also mean facing me or us in my direction. Okay. The next one is aku. All right. Let's take a look at this definition. It is the direction in a straight, forceful line, not towards me, away from me or us, facing you, far off. So there's a lot of mana'o for this one word aku. Yeah. In sense, giving us a sense of direction related to the speaker. So it could mean direction in a straight, forceful line, not towards me, facing away from me or us, facing you, far off. Okay. So these are some of the things that we need to keep in mind as we think about these hunekuhi. The next one is a'e. A'e. A'e when something, the direction is several directions with short, jerky movements, not toward me, upward direction, facing away from me. Okay. So think of popcorn when you're holding the bag of popcorn and you kind of spill it. The popcorn doesn't just go straight in one direction. They kind of they spill out of the bag in multiple directions. And in this case, we would probably use ha'e as the directional to give a sense of direction related to the speaker. Okay, so that's just one example. The popcorn, the kulina poha poha. And the final hunekuhi is iho, meikai. And iho is in the downward direction, down into a person, as with thinking and drinking. Okay, so e inu iho, e no'o no'o iho. Yeah, like you're internalizing something. So thinking is iho. Drinking, we use iho. Okay, so some of these hunekuhi, you can kind of associate them with certain types of verbs, certain types of painu, and then usually they will work together in tandem. Like for example, like how I said, thinking, usually we use iho when we want to add on these hunekuhi. If we're drinking something, then we're probably going to use the word iho because it's in a downward direction as the speaker drinks the water. Okay. And these are, again, just a few examples or a couple examples of how these words could be used. But we'll get a better sense of them as we look at the sentences. Okay. Inana kako. Let's take a look at an example of the first hunekuhi, mai. Okay, again, toward me, us, facing me or us. And let's take a look at this ki'i. All right. Oh, there you go. We have a Kanaka, and he's saying, hele mai ya'u, right? Or you can say, e hele mai ya'u. Hele mai ya'u, right? That mai toward me, toward us, facing us. And let's see what happens. Well, yeah, we just saw this other Kanaka coming from the right side. and moving in the direction toward the person speaking because that person said, Hele mai ia'u. Yeah, travel or come to me in my direction, ia'u, to me. And that person did. So this is a great example of how the word mai can be used with hele. Hey, mai kai, ho'omau aku. All right, so the next one is aku. Aku. And again, the definition direction in a straight, forceful line, not towards me, facing away from me, us facing you far off. All right, so let's take a look at this illustration. All right, we have a kanaka here, and let's see what happens. Oh, we have someone saying hele aku vau yaoi. Okay, hele aku vau yaoi. We have a person off screen, and he or she is saying hele aku vau yaoi. I will go or travel toward you. Yeah, away from me toward you. All right, so we have this person saying hele aku vau yaoi or hele aku vau yaoi. I am going to travel toward you in your direction to you. Okay, so let's see what happens now. Ah, there we go. We have our Kanaka who was traveling in the direction and who was also saying that I will travel to you. And there, that's exactly what he did. He traveled to the person that he was talking to. Maika, remember now, this is the sense of direction related to the speaker. In this case, the person who came in from the right was the speaker. Okay, maikai. O'omawaku. All right, the next one is ae. And again, ae, several directions with short, jerky movements, not toward me, but upward direction, in an upward direction facing away from me. All right, so let's take a look at an example for something that would be giving the sense of direction of ae. E luae ina pepa o lino. Okay, so lu is something to loo upward, several directions with short, jerky movements, not toward me, in an upward direction, facing away from me. And what would that be? Ina pepa olino. Na pepa olino. We should know what pepa means, but what does olino mean? What is a pepa olino? Aye. So, of course, we need to look up those words if we don't know them. But lu means to scatter. Yeah. And peppaolino means confetti. So na peppaolino, all the little pieces of paper that make up confetti. Elua e ina peppaolino. Elua e scatter the peppaolino. And what does that look like? Okay, here we have a Kanaka. He's holding something, and out of that thing will come. Oh, there's the confetti. All right. E lua e ina pepa o lino. And it's not just going in a straightforward motion or a downward motion. It's going up in the air and in multiple directions. It's not uniform. It's in a, jerky movements type of thing. It's not in a uniform way. It's just shooting up in all kinds of directions. All right. And it's not toward the person, it's upward and it's also going away from. So AE would be a good choice in this particular context of scattering something in the air. E lua e ina pepa o lino. Mai ka'i. And the last hunekuhi is iho. And iho again is in a downward direction, down into a person as we're thinking or drinking. Okay. So let's take a look at the illustration for this one, the animation for this example of iho. All right. We have two people, and one of them, the speaker, is saying, E noho iho oi. Okay. So he's talking to the person on the right. You are going to noho in a downward direction. Right. And of course, when you noho, you're going downward. But the iho just helps to clarify the sense of direction related to the speaker. E noho iho oi. And what does the person do? What does this illustration show? Or the person, he or she sits down. So maikai, e noho iho oi, you sit down, and that's what that person did. So maikai. All right. So Pepeke Painu me ka hunekuhi. Now we have the same sentences, right? That we looked at before. This time, however, we have the hunekuhi, the addition of the hunekuhi. And if you look at these examples, um, they all follow the painu, which is the verb, right? Ho'ala, ho'opio, opi opi, and uhi, uhi. We have the painu followed by the hunekuhi, followed by the piko, which can be a ka'imemea, or it can be a papani, or it can be an ioa. And then we have the ave, which is the object of the sentence, right? And it's the thing that is receiving the action of the verb. And all of these verbs are hamani, right? Because something is being done to something else, right? Something is receiving the action of the painu. So let's take a look at these and go through these real quickly. E ho'ala e kamakuahine ina keiki. So in the first time we looked at this, we said the answer was the mother shall wake the children. And it's the same idea, except we're giving it um, a more sense of direction of the person who is speaking. Okay. So we're just enhancing what we had said earlier without the hunekuhi. And the hunekuhi is a very Hawaiian thing. Okay. Kupuna use the hunekuhi all the time. It adds more clarification to the sentence. So now we know ho'ala'e, yeah, in the upward direction. E ho'ala'e kamakuahine ina keiki. So it just adds to it. Second one is e ho'opioiho keia kane kawaki. Okay, so now we're using iho with ho'opio, which go together, right? To ho'opio is in this case we're pressing something, right, to deactivate something. So in order to deactivate something, you need to press it. So ho'opio iho keia kane ikawaki. This man shall turn off the watch. We already knew this translation from the beginning, but now we get a better sense of the direction of the ho'opio, pressing downward, okay, in order to deactivate something. The third example, e opi opiaku oya ike kapomoe. Okay, so we have a person speaking, we have he or she talking, they're talking to someone and saying, no, 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 you're not gonna opi opi this, kapomoe. E opi opiaku oya ike kapomoe. So this person could be away from both of them, could be in another room, right? So we're just even getting more clarification on where that person could be. So, e opi opi aku oya ike kapomoe, not you, oya. He or she will fold the kapomoe. Okay, so he'll fold the blanket. Again, same mana'o in the English, but the Hawaiian offers us a little bit more clarification of the direction or the sense of direction. Next one is e opi opi mai oi ike ka vele. So this person speaking is talking to someone that could be near him or her, or in front of him or her, facing him or her. So they're in close proximity to each other. And this person is talking directly to someone else, right? So not about someone else, but directly to someone. So e opi opi mai oi ike kavele. Yeah, you're gonna go ahead and fold the kavele, and that person might be near me, beside me, or right in front of me. Okay. The meaning is the same, but in Hawaiian, we're getting more clarification. And the final example, e uhi aku o kahiva, ika pela o lei, ika uhi pela. When we looked at this the last time, we said that kahiva will cover the bed of lei with the sheep. But in this case, we're looking at the word aku that has been added into the pepeke following the painu of uhi. So e uhi aku o kahiva. I ka pela ole I ka uhi pela. So maybe kahiva is in another room or kahiva is away from them, far away from the person speaking. So we're talking to someone and saying that kahiva will do that. Okay, we're not talking directly to kahiva. We're talking to someone about kahiva, and kahiva will cover the bed of lei with the sheet. Not you, not him or her, but kahiva. In this case, you would use aku. So the whole point of the hunekuhi is that it gives us a sense of direction of the person who is speaking. So it takes some practice to kind of to get used to using the hunekuhi, but once you get it, your ʻŌlelo would be even more beautiful. These are some of the words that make Hawaiian Hawaiian. The big takeaway from this is that these little hua ʻŌlelo called the hunekuhi has an important role in ʻŌlelo Hawaii and conveying our mana'o to someone else. Oia wale no keia haʻawina. E hoʻohana kākou I keia mau hunekuhi, ke ʻōlelo aku kākou kekahi. And let's use this hunekuhi, ea. Oia a hiki ka hui hou ano kākou e malama pono, a hui hou aku no. The production of this podcast was supported by grant number 90NB0038-02-00 from ACF. Its content is solely the responsibility of Aha Punana Leo Incorporated and does not necessarily represent the official views of ACF.